Something subtle shifted the day everything began to unravel, so subtle that anyone standing in the room might have missed it. A shift in tone, a shift in breath, a shift in the way two people who once knew each other better than anyone suddenly felt like strangers staring at each other from opposite ends of a crumbling bridge. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't some explosive fight that echoed off the walls. It was smaller than that, almost quiet. But it was the kind of quiet that feels dangerous. The kind of quiet that tells you nothing will ever be the same again. She changed after that moment, though most people wouldn't have seen it. She carried that change in the movement of her eyes, in the rhythm of her voice, in the way she began pulling back pieces of herself that she once gave so freely. And yet, through all of it, through every fracture, every disappointment, every silence that settled between us like dust, I cared. I cared more than I should have. I cared even when caring felt like a slow pull toward pain. But caring doesn't stop destruction. Sometimes it just makes you feel every piece of it more deeply. So when someone asked how I felt about seeing Robin again after everything, the years of tension, the emotional fallout, the unspoken blame that had been tossed around like confetti at a parade no one wanted to attend, they expected anger. They expected bitterness or some dramatic explosion in response. But the truth wasn't dramatic. Our last interaction didn't end in shouting or tears. It ended in something far stranger, something off, something that made my skin itch with a feeling I couldn't name. We were supposed to be discussing something simple: property, land, the division of space. But nothing about that conversation was simple because it was never just about land. It was about everything people refused to say out loud. It was about choices made for us, not with us. It was about conversations that happened in corners and conclusions thrown at us as if they were inevitable. And in the middle of that confusion, that uncomfortable push and pull, something silent passed between me and Robin. Something that said, we're not on the same side anymore. Maybe we never were. But while fans and viewers were dissecting that moment, replaying it, analyzing every eyebrow twitch and awkward pause, something much bigger, much more quietly devastating, was already set in motion behind the scenes. Something no one saw coming. Something that would change the narrative in a way no interview or confrontation ever could. Because while the world was focused on drama, conflict, divisions, and wounds that never healed, Meri Brown was preparing for a completely different kind of response. A response so subtle and yet so powerful that when it finally came to light, it felt like watching a storm roll in on a cloudless day. Unexpected, inevitable, unstoppable. And that brings us to where this story truly begins. Not with a fight, not with a public meltdown, but with a man sitting in a chair under studio lights, believing he was about to rewrite his own story. Welcome back, Sister Wives Nation. If you've been following this journey with the intensity of a detective holding a magnifying glass to every frame of the show, then you already know the temperature has been rising. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is your moment, because this story, the one you're about to hear, isn't just gossip or rumor or speculation. This is transformation. This is comeback. This is the unannounced rise of a woman who spent years being dismissed, overlooked, and underestimated, and who is now stepping into a version of herself so powerful that even Kody Brown didn't see it coming. 2 weeks ago, Cody sat down for an interview that he clearly believed would be his redemption arc. You could see it in the way he carried himself, in the way his voice softened at strategic moments, in the way he kept glancing at the camera as though begging it to understand him. He was ready to reshape history, to repaint the past with colors that made him look like the misunderstood hero of a story he broke with his bare hands. And for a few minutes, he almost pulled it off. His words were drenched in practiced sadness, his tone dipped in rehearsed vulnerability. He played the role of a man who claimed to have loved deeply, tried endlessly, suffered quietly. But then the interviewer mentioned Meri, and everything shifted. You could see something flash in his eyes. Not pain, not sadness, but something sharp, something defensive, something that had been simmering beneath the surface for years. Cody didn't hesitate. He didn't soften. He didn't pause to consider the weight of what he was about to say. Instead, he dove headfirst into blame. According to him, everything that went wrong with Meri was her fault. She was distant. She was cold. She was disconnected. She didn't try. And of course, he pulled out the catfishing scandal again, waving it like a tattered flag of justification, insisting it proved she had emotionally abandoned the marriage long before he let go. The narrative was familiar. He had played it before, but this time he sharpened it. Because when the interviewer asked whether he regretted how things ended with Meri, Cody delivered the line that set the entire internet on fire. He said he regretted wasting so many years trying to fix something that was already broken. A waste. He called his decades-long marriage to his first wife a waste of time. And the world inhaled sharply, waiting, no, expecting a response from Meri. After all, the Meri the world had known for years was someone who clung to that relationship with tear-filled hope. Someone who apologized for things that weren't her fault. Someone who posted cryptic quotes to soothe herself. Someone who rushed to defend herself whenever Cody twisted the story. Someone who still believed the marriage could be saved even after he publicly rejected her. But that Meri? She was gone. Because instead of posting angry words, instead of defending herself, instead of correcting the narrative Cody was aggressively trying to push, Meri did something infinitely more powerful. She said nothing. Not one post. Not one story. Not one interview. Not one emotional outburst. Silence. A silence so sharp it sliced through Cody's narrative like a blade. Because sometimes silence isn't weakness. Sometimes silence is a strategy more powerful than any words could ever be. While Cody was talking, Meri was moving. While Cody was rewriting history, Meri was rewriting her life. And the world had no idea that her silence was not absence, it was preparation. Because 3 days after Cody's interview aired, Meri resurfaced online. Not with anger, not with sorrow, not with some long monologue about healing or heartbreak.
No.
Meri resurfaced in Hawaii. But this wasn't just a vacation. This wasn't some escape to distract herself from the emotional mess Cody tried to throw her into. No, this was something else entirely. She was attending a high-level business retreat, one celebrating top earners in her company. Top earners. The irony was breathtaking. Cody had spent years framing Meri as fragile, unstable, unmotivated, lost. But the woman standing barefoot on white sand beaches, laughing under the Hawaiian sun, surrounded by powerful, successful women, she was anything but lost. Every photo from that retreat radiated freedom. Luxury boat excursions, private dinners overlooking sparkling water, spa treatments where she looked more relaxed than she had in years. She wasn't hiding. She wasn't breaking. Meri's silence after Cody's interview wasn't just silence. It was a seismic wave, a quiet thunder, a kind of calm that only comes right before something powerful happens, the kind of calm that makes the world lean in, wondering what storm is about to break loose. Except this time, the storm wasn't anger. It wasn't rage. It wasn't a dramatic meltdown or an emotional response. This storm was control, composure, and a level of self-respect Cody never believed she could have. And that's what terrified him the most. Because despite everything he said, every jab, every condescending shrug, every dismissive comment, Meri refused to speak his language. She refused to give him what he expected, a fight. And that refusal opened the door to something far stronger than retaliation. It opened the door to evolution. And this evolution didn't crawl, it erupted. Her first move was small. A single image. The kind of post that would look harmless to anyone who didn't know the story behind it. A sunlit beach. A soft breeze stirring her hair. The glimmering waves of Hawaii glowing behind her like warm, liquid gold. But this wasn't just a vacation. It wasn't a random trip. It was a message wrapped in happiness. A message Cody could never ignore. There she was, surrounded by people who actually valued her. People who looked at her with genuine warmth instead of judgment. People who saw her worth without her having to fight for it. People who wanted her to succeed, not shrink. Every frame of that photo radiated independence, empowerment, a woman reborn. And that was only the beginning. Because once that Hawaii photo hit the internet, the narrative Kody tried to build around her began to crumble. Fans didn't see a broken woman. They didn't see someone wasting his time, as Kody called her. They saw a woman who finally understood that her life wasn't defined by a man who quit on her long before she walked away. They saw someone who survived spiritual neglect, emotional abandonment, and years of being treated like an afterthought, and transformed those wounds into fuel. For the first time in years, Meri looked alive. Alive in a way that Kody could no longer take credit for. Alive in a way that he could no longer control. But the most dramatic part? She didn't say a single word about him. Not even a hint. Her silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. Because Kody lives on conflict. He breathes chaos. He thrives when people react to him. He knows how to twist reactions into proof that he was right. But how do you twist silence? How do you use peace as ammunition? You can't. And that's why Meri's quiet confidence was the sharpest blade she had ever wielded. But while social media buzzed with excitement over her glow-up, Kody was watching everything. Carefully, anxiously. And with every smile she posted, every new achievement she hinted at, every sign of joy that didn't include him, the control he once held slipped further from his hands. He didn't know it yet, but the real blow was still coming. Because Meri wasn't just healing. She was building. And when she finally revealed what she had been working on, the world and Kody would realize that her silence wasn't merely a lack of response. It was preparation. It was strategy. It was revenge, but crafted with elegance. Because when a woman who has been underestimated for years finally decides she's done proving herself, she stops arguing. She starts rising. And Meri was rising higher than she ever had before. Her business retreat in Hawaii wasn't just a vacation. It wasn't just a moment of peace. It was a stepping stone towards something massive, something that would prove, once and for all, that the narrative Kody tried to build about her was nothing more than an insecure man trying to rewrite a history that didn't favor him. But before the world even got a glimpse of what she was about to unveil, something subtle began happening. Something so small that even she didn't realize it at first.
Her posture changed.
Her walk changed. Her smile grew deeper. Her eyes regained the spark they had once lost. And perhaps the most shocking transformation of all, she stopped hesitating.
About anything.
She stopped apologizing for taking up space. She stopped shrinking in order to maintain a false peace. She stopped pretending that the life she lost held more value than the one she was building. Fans noticed it immediately. They filled the comments with encouragement. She looks free. She looks younger. She looks like she finally exhaled. And all of it was true. She was exhaling, the kind of exhale that comes after years of holding your breath inside a toxic environment. Meanwhile, Kody was doing the opposite. He was inhaling stress, inhaling fear, inhaling frustration that the narrative he tried to control was slipping through his fingers. Because for a man who always relied on being the center of the story, there's nothing more threatening than being replaced by silence. Part 2 ends here, and Part 3 will take you into the explosive moment when Meri publicly reveals the massive business move that changes everything, the moment the fandom erupts, and the moment Kody realizes he can't rewrite the story anymore. Successfully painted himself as the misunderstood victim of a failed marriage, he didn't know he was standing because while Kody was still riding the temporary high of his interview, thinking he had on a cliff that was about to collapse beneath him, he thought he'd finally found a way to twist the story in his favor, spin the past, and convince the audience that Meri was the problem. But Meri wasn't just surviving. She was preparing. And Kody had no idea what was about to hit. The shift began on a quiet weekday morning. Nothing dramatic, nothing flashy, just a simple notification on social media. Fans thought it might be another sunset photo from Hawaii, or maybe one of her usual positive affirmation posts. Something calm, something soft. But what they saw instead made the Sister Wives fandom explode. Meri announced the expansion. Not just a renovation. Not just a business refresh. Not just updates. No. She announced the full-scale expansion of her iconic Utah bed and breakfast, Lizzie's Heritage Inn, into something far bigger than anyone expected. This wasn't just a business move. This was a declaration of independence, a declaration of confidence, a declaration that she, Meri Brown, the woman Cody dismissed as a waste of time, had just stepped into a league far beyond what he imagined she was capable of. Her post showed images of brand new rooms, upgraded architecture, extended land, refined interiors, and an entire brand reinvention wrapped in elegance. Rustic charm mixed with modern luxury. The kind of boutique destination that wasn't just a place to stay, it was an experience, an escape, a sanctuary. And fans felt the message instantly. This wasn't just a renovation. This was Meri building her empire. And the timing? Oh, the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Just days after Cody publicly belittled her, she delivered a public triumph so loud it drowned out every insult he tried to weaponize against her. The comments section exploded. Now this is how you clap back. She didn't need to say a word. This is revenge. She's leveling up while he's falling apart. The timing is iconic. Meri wins again. But the most powerful reactions came from those who had watched her for years, watched her be sidelined, dismissed, ignored, talked over, belittled, emotionally starved. For them, this wasn't just a business announcement. It was justice. A moment of balance after years of imbalance. A moment of triumph after years of suppression. A moment of rebirth after years of spiritual neglect. And the beauty of it all? She didn't mention Cody. Not once. Not even indirectly. She didn't have to. Her success said everything her heart had been wanting to say, but never could during the years she spent trying to earn a place in a family that kept shrinking around her. Silence remained her sharpest weapon. Silence was her fire. Silence was her liberation. But behind that silence was something deeper, something raw and real. Because while fans celebrated her glow-up, very few people understood the emotional journey behind this expansion. This wasn't a business plan she suddenly woke up with. No. This was born from pain. From nights of crying alone. From years of feeling invisible. From the crushing realization that the man she loved wasn't just drifting away. He had never been hers emotionally, not truly, not deeply, not consistently. Meri had to lose the life she thought she wanted in order to build the life she always deserved. And now, she was finally living it. But while fans praised her, while women everywhere posted about her strength, while social media crowned her the unofficial queen of elegant revenge, Cody was watching. And the more he watched, the more uncomfortable he became. Because this wasn't supposed to happen. In Cody's mind, Meri was supposed to fade after the breakup. She was supposed to struggle. She was supposed to feel lost without him, because that's how he validated himself. He needed to believe he was the reason his wives were stable, secure, grounded. But Meri's success shattered that illusion. Her independence undermined his narrative. Her silence undermined his ego. Her happiness undermined his story. And the worst part for Cody? People were choosing her version of the story, without her even telling it. But this was only the beginning of part 3. Because what fans didn't know, what no one knew, was that the expansion wasn't the only thing Meri had been building. That announcement was just the surface of the transformation that had been happening quietly, privately, beneath everything. There was more, much more. A deeper shift, a personal awakening, a spiritual rebirth that began long before Hawaii, long before the expansion, long before Cody's interview. It was the transformation within her. The one thing Cody couldn't control, couldn't predict, and couldn't stop. Because now that Meri had stepped into her own power, the next chapter was about to get even more dramatic. Because while the business expansion rocked the fandom, and while her Hawaii photos declared a new era of independence, the truth is, those were simply the external signs of a deeper, more powerful shift happening inside her. A shift so profound that even she didn't fully recognize its magnitude until she began to live it. For years, Meri had been trapped in an emotional maze, a maze built from guilt, confusion, longing, and an almost desperate desire to keep a family intact that was never truly made for her. She spent countless nights questioning her worth, Countless days trying to prove herself. Countless moments trying to shrink so others could shine. She believed that love meant sacrifice. She believed loyalty meant endurance. She believed patience meant pain. But all along, those beliefs were chains, thin, invisible chains that held her in place long after her heart had outgrown the space she was living in. And breaking those chains wasn't just healing. It was evolution. It was awakening. It was rebirth. Her silence wasn't passive. It wasn't weak. It wasn't avoidance. It was acknowledgement that arguing with someone who never listened was a waste of breath. Acknowledgement that seeking clarity from someone who never offered it was a waste of years. Acknowledgement that trying to fix something built on broken foundations was a waste of a life. So she chose not to fight. She chose to rise instead. But this rise wasn't fueled by bitterness or rage. It was fueled by something far more powerful, something Cody could never provide and could never take away: self-recognition. For the first time, she saw herself clearly. She saw the woman she truly was. She saw the resilience she always carried. She saw the strength she had forgotten. She saw the courage she never realized she possessed. And once she saw herself, she couldn't go back.
She didn't want to.
Because the truth was simple. The woman she was becoming was far more powerful than the woman she once fought to be. And the moment she embraced that truth, everything in her life began to shift. Her conversations changed. Her friendships deepened. Her boundaries strengthened. Her dreams grew louder. Her confidence returned. Her presence expanded. And all of this happened while Cody remained stuck in the same emotional loop he'd been repeating for years, blaming everyone but himself, rewriting history in ways that made him feel safer, clinging to a narrative that painted him as the misunderstood hero instead of the architect of his own downfall. But the world didn't see him that way anymore. They saw the cracks, the contradictions, the inconsistencies, the emotional shortcuts he took to avoid accountability. And with each new milestone Meri hit, those cracks grew wider, exposing the truth he'd worked so hard to hide. But here's the twist, the biggest twist of all. Meri didn't rise to spite him. She didn't rise to prove him wrong. She didn't rise to embarrass him. She didn't rise to weaponize success against him. She rose because she finally understood something she had been blind to for so long. She never needed him. Not his love. Not his approval. Not his validation. Not his acceptance. Not his presence. She only needed herself. And when that realization finally settled into her bones, the transformation became unstoppable. Her glow wasn't just happiness. It was liberation. Her smile wasn't just confidence. It was reclamation. Her silence wasn't just peace. It was closure. And Cody felt that shift, deeply, painfully, overwhelmingly. It wasn't a slap in the face. It wasn't a scream. It wasn't an argument. It was worse. Silently worse. It was irrelevance. Because when a woman you once controlled no longer needs you, when her life grows bigger than your shadow, when her success makes your bitterness look small, when her joy makes your excuses look hollow, that's the kind of revenge you can't explain away. That's the revenge that burns quietly. That's the revenge that lingers. That's the revenge that changes everything. And the fandom saw it. The world saw it.
Cody saw it.
But the person who felt it most was Meri. Not as triumph over him, but as triumph for herself. Because at the end of the story, at the center of everything, the truth becomes crystal clear. Meri's revenge was never about destroying Cody. It was about rebuilding herself from the ground up, and doing it so beautifully, so powerfully, so fearlessly, that not even his harshest words could dim her shine. She didn't ruin him. She outgrew him. She didn't fight for the old version of her life. She built a better one. She didn't chase validation. She became her own validation. In the end, the greatest revenge was a woman who stopped trying to be chosen and chose herself instead. And once she chose herself, once she stepped into her real life, her real power, her real identity, Cody became something he never imagined he would be. A chapter. Not the story. Not the ending. Just a chapter she finally closed. And with that chapter closed, Meri Brown didn't just walk forward, she soared. And the world watched in awe as she finally became the woman she was always meant to be.